Good afternoon. My name's Frank Haney, Winnebago County Board Chairman. I am joined by Dr. Martell from the Winnebago County Health Department and Rockford Mayor Tom Mcnamara. Today I am announcing a disaster proclamation for the county under Section 11 of the Illinois Emergency Management Act. This is a proactive measure often taken by communities after the governor declares a statewide emergency. This gives county officials another operational tool in continuing response efforts. The proclamation will enhance the county's ability to access the resources, equipment, and personnel needed to address ongoing issues during the challenging times. It also positions the county to access funding and support from the federal government when that becomes available. On Thursday, we will be asking our county board to adopt that officially as well. Just to recap a few things that I think are very important is that we work together as a community and a collective family to bend the curve, that we stay calm, we stay away from each other, that 6-foot social distancing that you're hearing pushed out by every level of government repeatedly, and we appreciate the media's help in pushing that out, and that when possible, we stay put. There was a challenge issued today to young people. It was talked about at the federal level. It was reemphasized just moments ago by the governor's office, and I'd like to take a minute and mention this as well. This is a very specific message to young people in our community. Kids like my daughter Leah, who have been sent home from college, who are seeing significant disruption in their lives. And other younger professionals in their late teens and 20s and even early 30s, that you really help lead the effort. We are counting on you very strongly to help us stay away and stay put, and we do need your leadership at this time. Also want to talk about restaurants. If we could take every family in this community, take a look at the amount of money you've spent eating out over the last couple months, and then take those dollars and invest in that in carry-out over the next few months. That will be very helpful at staying committed to our restaurant owners who obviously are going through a difficult time. So you can help our local businesses in that manner. Also want to encourage people to get out and vote tomorrow. Elections are still on, and to make sure you get out and vote, and you can still vote today as well. There's a number of people that I do want to take a minute and thank before I turn things over to Dr. Martell. She has a couple of additional updates today, but I do want to point out a couple things, and I think that for those of you at home that are watching this, or those of you who are going to watch the news tonight, you're trying to make sense of certain things. And what I guess I would point to when it comes to this is that we will come through this, but we do need to take this seriously and work together. We are a collective family as a community, and we do need that after we talk about some of these key points, that you turn around and have some of these conversations with your family at home at the dinner table. One of the things I'm noticing at the federal, state, and local level is that you have folks that don't always agree actually saying some of the very same things about bending the curve, about the idea of being proactive, about the need at all levels and all ages around social distancing and staying put. And so when I just heard the president, a Republican, say a few things that actually sounded a lot like what our governor, who's a Democrat, has been saying for the last several days or week, yes, there could be occasional disagreements on other things, but I'm starting to hear things that reinforce messages that we've heard from our local officials, like the head of our health department, that have been talking about social distancing and about staying put now for multiple weeks. So when we had 3 leaders from the various hospitals come forward yesterday, they said some of those same things. And so we see people, regardless of what they thought about this maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, that I'm hearing consistency in the need, and we do need our community, again, to come together as a family and take this very seriously, and then pivot and have those same conversations with their in-laws and also their children at home. I also want to say some thank yous. I want to thank Dr. Martell for her leadership again. I also had a very nice conversation with our sheriff, and I know that they're going to be, along with our chief judge, I think they're putting out some information. The level of collaboration I'm seeing at the county at this time is to be commended, and that we have a lot of great local partners. And yes, this is a tough time, but I would say this. We are well positioned because of pre-planning. We are well positioned because we have a world-class health system with 3 hospitals, and the level of expertise that is being brought to the table locally is exceptional and should be commended. I also want to take a minute and thank the media. Several media partners have taken the time to follow up to really get to the facts of what information should be shared so that we're sharing factual information that is researched and evidence-based and helping push out this information. You have a role to play in this process as well, so do want to thank you. Again, the Winnebago County family of 285,000 people, we do need to really be serious about this, but understand that if the harder we work on this today, the better off we are going to be even a few weeks from now. So again, thank you very much. I'm going to turn things over to Dr. Martell.
Good afternoon. And once again, thank you to all the elected officials, the support of our business community, and the many organizations have really taken the guidance we have been pushing out seriously with the goal of protecting the health and safety of our community. I'm going to challenge Chairman Haney. I just don't want to bend the curve. I want to flatten the curve. I want it to be flatline. I want to thank our restaurants, schools, and community for their support. You can imagine how disruptive this is as they prepare for changing things up in their operations. And I believe that everyone in this community that's a business has the creative ability to do this. We need to help them because we really know that this has been one of the issues and concerns. We've also heard, and we will be issuing some additional guidance on daycares. We understand that as the schools close, that they will be looking for daycare centers to provide child care. At this time, child care centers are really closed environments, and they are not going to be taking additional children from school. They will be managing the families that they currently have in place. And the reason for that is those are closed environments. We have special guidance for them so that they function, so that the younger children, usually under the age of 5, are what we call cohorted together with a teacher, that there are practices we are going to work with them to put in place. So outside visitors to daycares for activities and things are restricted. We're asking them to really begin that practice. And so we are going to work with them over the next couple of days to put those tighter measures in place. Travelers returning from O'Hare and the infamous TSA backup. We are issuing guidance that if you've traveled to a country with a level 3 travel advisory, that you're going to self-quarantine and you're going to notify the Winnebago County Health Department for coordination. And the reason for that is really in the interest, if someone should become ill while in quarantine, that we can then get their testing done in a facility, notifying the healthcare center of their risk and exposure. This becomes important. We talk about the testing issue, we talk about expanding testing, but right now the most important thing is for those who become symptomatic to be tested so that we can determine the cause. And then we can appropriately quarantine their contacts. So if you were in the O'Hare TSA backup on Saturday, March 14th, we want you to call the Winnebago County Health Department. The number that we're providing to the general community for any information is 1-815-319-6705. Again, I'll repeat that. That's 815-319-6705. Those calls are being handled by our Emergency Operations Center, and they're being dispersed for experts to respond and appropriately manage the call. Kind of looping back to testing, right? We keep hearing about more testing. Is there testing? Drive-up testing. You heard from our healthcare systems yesterday that if you feel that you've become symptomatic or been exposed to COVID-19, we want you to call before you come. And they will take the necessary steps to protect both the healthcare workers, your other community members who are in the waiting areas of these clinics and hospitals, as well as appropriately manage the individual when they arrive. At this particular time, there is no testing warranted for people who are not been exposed, do not have symptoms, and we need to get that message out because, again, I think that this is a way that we can protect our healthcare assets and resource, and those who become symptomatic from an exposure in this travel or another case are promptly tested. I want to also remind individuals that the Winnebago County Health Department does not conduct testing on this location. So I know that that's kind of out there, and we want to make sure that people understand we are not a health care provider and that they need to call their primary care provider or one of our federally qualified health centers if they need assistance, and they will then route them appropriately. Again, we need your support in getting this message out. As the restaurants close down, and I know we've heard a lot of discussion about what hour, how many, we need to understand, we need your support in getting the word out. I understand that there are people in our community who feel that they're not at risk, but they put everyone else around them at risk, whether it's the workers, whether it's family members they return to, or people in their environment and their work. So we need people to get this message out. And there, we talked about it yesterday. I need people to stay calm. That means getting factual information. Don't repeat things that cannot be validated or verified. I need people to stay apart, and that means 6 feet of social distancing. And I mean 6 feet. Stay put. Do not travel unnecessarily. Work is a necessity at the present time. Elections are a necessity, so appropriate to travel, but you've got time to early vote again. But do not, if you need to go to the grocery store, go to the grocery store, but don't make 5 trips to a grocery store. That's 5 potential exposures and contacts. And most of all is stay connected. Stay connected with family and friends who might be isolated. This is a great time for the use of our social media, but we need everyone's important attention to those, simple messages of staying calm, stay apart, stay put, stay connected. And thank you. And I'm now going to turn over to Mayor Tom Mcnamara of the City of Rockford.
Thank you, Dr. Martell, again, just for your continued leadership, as well as you, Chairman Haney. I really appreciate the collaboration. Obviously, today we're still seeing a completely fluid situation, and I just want to say I appreciate the community's patience with us. We are receiving and working to process just an incredible amount of information. And while we receive that and process it, we're also trying to communicate that to all of you. So I would just, again, add, get your information from reliable sources. You have many of them here right in this room that are working hard to ensure that citizens get accurate information. That is critical for our citizens to get accurate information. My top advice to everyone is the same as it was yesterday. Stay at home as much as possible, because we know that one infected person can infect many others. This does not include, though, essential activities. As Dr. Martell stated, that's working, that's voting, that's picking up supplies, that's picking up medicine for your family members or yourself, that's checking on a family member who may be in need. Although dine-in service at restaurants has been closed and temporarily suspended, you may still support those local businesses by ordering carry-out or delivery or purchasing gift cards from them. We need to limit the contact between people as much as possible whenever we go out. This will help us slow that spread that Dr. Martell was mentioning. If you do have to go out, please practice social distancing. That is the 6 feet apart that Dr. Martell has been telling us about. Continue to wash your hands and surfaces with soap and water to disinfect. Although there's obviously a shortage of hand sanitizer at a whole host of local grocery stores and convenience stores, the one thing that there is not a shortage of is soap. It's the old-fashioned, do it the so-called the hard way, and wash your hands and take the time to make sure that your hands are clean. Dr. Martell also mentioned the phone number. That phone number for questions that citizens may have is 815-319-6705. Also, you can visit the website at COVID-19 at wchd.com. COVID-19 at wchd.com. Knowing that access to water is essential to preventing COVID-19, yesterday I stated that last week the City of Rockford temporarily halted the practice of disconnecting water service to any Rockford resident or business due to non-payment. We also have suspended any of the fees associated with paying electronically or by phone to encourage people not to come into City Hall to pay your bill. We're encouraging all citizens to pay that bill electronically or by phone, and we are waiving those existing fees. Also, it was mentioned previously, there's an election tomorrow. Polling places have implemented a host of appropriate measures to reduce the potential exposure to anyone coming in. I'm asking that everyone be patient while you are in line to vote, and also practice the social distancing while you're in line to vote. It may take a little bit longer due to the precautions that our election authority has put in place for your health and for us to limit exposure. You can bring a black ballpoint pen of your own, but I'm speaking only to Rockford voters, not to Winnebago County voters. To Rockford voters, you can bring your own black ballpoint pen to all city locations. You can vote at your regular polling places. There are only 2 changes that have occurred to date in regards to voting locations. Those 2 changes occur at senior center polling places, and we have communicated through a telephone connection with our residents who have been impacted, but so that you know these. Fairhaven voting location has moved across the street to Rockford Lutheran High School, and a tremendous thank you to Rockford Lutheran High School. Spring Ridge Senior Living has moved to East Branch of the Rockford Public Library at State and Perryville, and a thank you to the Rockford Public Library. I want to just take 1 second and say thank you to our election judges. These are amazing people who every election cycle do our citizens great work. This one is obviously unique, and their commitment to our Constitution and our constitutional rights is really pretty remarkable. I also want to bring to your attention that the Rockford Public Library will be offering remote services only beginning at 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning, March 18th. So they'll offer only remote services beginning 9 a.m. on Wednesday, March 18th. Full services will continue to be offered at all Rockford Public Libraries through 8 p.m. on Tuesday, March 17th, including voting for precincts scheduled at both the East and Rockton Center branches. All events and classes will be canceled as of Wednesday, March 18th. The library staff will continue to report to work and will be available to provide telephone and email services. We know yesterday's news when it comes to restaurants, as the in-house dining at these have been suspended, comes at an incredible hardship for business owners as well as their employees. We really encourage all of our residents to patronize our restaurants for carry-out and delivery, as well as purchasing gift cards. We have also worked with the Rockford Local Development Corporation to create a process for small businesses who have loans with the RLDC to defer their loan payments during this time. We ask that other financial institutions follow our lead and consider programs that will assist small businesses and citizens. The City of Rockford is also creating a process to defer liquor license renewal fees for bars and restaurants for a period of right now 60 days. License holders will still need to submit their renewal paperwork on time, but their fee will be delayed at least 60 days at this time. We have asked the state to also consider deferring their renewal fees as well. We're working closely with the state and federal, at the state and federal level to seek financial grants and loans to assist small business owners to help mitigate the losses that our business owners are seeing at this time. We are also in close communication with our state and federal delegations to provide emergency benefits to employees and all of Rockford residents impacted by this shutdown. My strongest recommendation, stay home. Practice social distancing. Also, please check on those neighbors of yours, especially our senior neighbors, and help them purchasing supplies and other tasks that must be performed. I know this is difficult for businesses. I know this is disruptive to all of us, but we all need to, at this time, remain calm, remain together. The City of Rockford residents are amazing people who always come together in difficult times. This is no different. When we stay together, I know we will get through this. And I just want to say thank you for the citizens' patience. And again, I would echo the comments. Thank you to all of you for playing the critical role you play every day in the media, but especially at this time. The work that you're doing is really purposeful and means a lot to all of us up here. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Martell for questions.